Alright, this video is going to take a bit of a closer look at some different types of dimensions. I've got a shape up here. I've done some of the easier dimensions, but there's still a few left over that we need to do. Let's take a look at this drawing real quick. So there are a couple dimensions that are a little bit different. Here's a good example. This is what is called an angular dimension. So what this is doing, this is measuring in degrees. And whenever you do these dimensions, probably the easiest thing to do is just to look at where the arrows are pointed at. That's essentially going to tell you exactly where to click. So what this is telling us is that there's a 120-degree angle between these two edges. So when I go to dimension that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this edge, and you'll see a number will pop up, but I'm going to go over to this second edge over here, and that's going to create that dimension. But you have to be careful. You can't just place this dimension wherever you want to, because what you'll notice is if you start moving the mouse around, you're going to get different types of numbers and different types of dimensions. If I move the mouse to the inside, you'll see that number changes quite a bit. And if I move it over here, we get a different number. And if I move it down here, we get another different number. So be very careful where you place your dimension. You can't just place it anywhere. It's got to be placed in the correct spot. So I'm going to place it right over there. And we'll type 120. Now to do these lines that are at an angle, this is one method using the degrees. Now, if I were to dimension this line, there's another way you can do it. So if I click on this edge, you'll see I can get a whole bunch of different dimensions just by moving the mouse around. So now this one is not an angular dimension. This one's a little bit different. But notice where the mouse is sitting right now. What I'm measuring is the total, just the basic length of that line. But if I start moving the mouse around, I'm going to get a few different dimensions. If I move it over here to the left, now what I'm doing is I'm not measuring the length of the line. What I'm doing is I'm measuring how far that line travels vertically. So you can see it gives me a much different number than before. And if I move the mouse up here towards the top, I get kind of the horizontal travel of that line, how far that line travels left to right. So once again, be careful as to where you're placing these numbers. Make sure you know exactly what type of dimension that you want. Dimensions are a lot more than just clicking the line. Okay, you can get a lot of different variations on one line. So I'm going to go ahead and plug that in. Now there's one more dimension that is going to be quite common, and that is this 1.5 here in the middle of the screen. So this is kind of measuring like the overall height of that part. It's very different from this dimension over here on the right. Okay, now this one is not measuring the entire height of the part, it's just measuring the height of this line. So if we want to measure the total height, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to click two edges. We're going to have to click the bottom edge and also the top edge. So once again, you could just look at where the arrows are. So we see this arrow's pointed at this bottom edge, and we got an arrow pointed up here. So let's go ahead and try that. So I'm going to click on the bottom edge of the part, and then I'm going to go up to the top edge and click there. And now you can see we have that dimension where we're measuring the total height of that part. And I could go ahead and type that in. And you get something that looks like that. So that's just a few more kind of extra dimensions, and hope you enjoyed.